Hey YouTube, coming into the Fossil Cup team, and in this video I actually just wanted to use Lucario. I start with Lucario, and then I'm like, so I start with the core from my video the other day, Quagsire and Pelipper. This core is just almost like broken, right? Quagsire's only weakness is grass, and Pelipper as a flyer is going to deal with that, essentially, right? So super strong core together. And then so I want to try Lucario, and then I went through, I played like 3 to 5 games with Lucario. And then I went to Escav, and I'm like, are these the only 2 counter users in here? And more or less, there's Pseudo Widow, but again, like Rock in this meta is just so bad. And it's the same thing, Lycanroc and Bonsly, which are all Rock type Pokemon. So it's Lucario at ranked 6, and Escav ranked 10, and then Pseudo Widow's like 16, stuff like that. So I tested both of them out because I wanted to feel how they played, both of them. And they each had their pros and cons, in my opinion. I mean, they kind of play the same role. They're both counter users. I think that Escav's, it depends what you want to run on Lucario. I'm running Power Punch and Shadow Ball on Lucario. And then Escav, I'm running Drill Run and Mega Horn. So the difference being that for Lucario, if you run into let's say a Pelipper, you will be able to throw the Shadow Ball in for neutral as opposed to Escav, which everything's resisted. However, if you've seen my other video the other day, when I had Pelipper going into Escav, that Mega Horn still does, like, between the counters of the Mega Horn, your Pelipper's still in like the deep yellow, almost red. So it's not, I'm not worried about that too much. Lucario's very glassy in this. Actually, let me just look up their stats products for both of these. But I don't need their stat products to tell me that Lucario is very glassy in the Great League. Escav has way more bulk. I just find it more well-rounded, and you don't lose as much in the fighting and the attack as you would do in the defense. And yeah, that makes sense right here, right? So Lucario, so 145 attack, which is huge, but then 95 defense and 110 stamina for a total stat product of 1532, which is like very low. So that's not good. Escav, on the other hand, has 133.9 attack, which is still very strong attack, with 116 defense and 107 stamina for 1673. So the defense, you feel the difference between Escav and Lucario. So both hit pretty strong. In terms of their rankings against the meta, Lucario with Power Punch and Escav with this, even though Lucario's ranked higher, if you run Power Punch, Escav actually has 2 more wins overall. So 2 more losses, Skarmory and Araquanid, which you don't see much, but 5 more wins. And the wins is why I put Escav in. The mirror match against us, like, you don't win that, but you do neutral there compared to just getting destroyed with Lucario. And then there's Lantern, Lucario, Quagsire, and Whiscash, and it's the Mud Boys. And it's I noticed that the one I got hard counted, it was, you're gonna see, I don't know, while I was talking if it already showed up. Maybe it's next time. I just get the one loss that I showcased, I just get hard countered completely. Not much you can do here, but there was a couple more matches I played with Lucario where I had it on a Whiscash, and it's just like it had no shot because those mud bombs. What about mud bomb? Between the mud shot and mud bomb, Whiscash one shots you, which is ridiculous. Like, that's how glassy Lucario is. Escav, no. And Escav, actually, between that and the drill run, you can flip that matchup, or actually landing probably the Mega Horn. So that is why I think, even though Lucario is ranked higher, I think it is probably better to run Escav if you are going to run a counter user in this meta. Like I said, you're still going to lose to Flyer anyways, so I'm not too worried about that versus like the Pelipper matchup versus Lucario getting on the Pelipper, but just being able to throw like super effective drill runs here, being able to not get lit up by the Mud Boys, I think is a huge trade-off, and that extra bulk really comes into handy when there's not a ton of bulky Pokemon in this meta, right? So that is my thought process on Lucario Escav. I still think this Quagsire Pelipper core is beyond broken. It is so strong. The only thing with Lucario that you don't get with Escav is if you can get ramped up on power punches, like if you switch in, if they have like a whatever lead and they switch into like a Ferrothorn, which I had happen, and you can just like ramp up with power punches, and they don't have anything that like resists, if they don't have like a jellicent or a pelipper or something, like you can ramp up pretty quickly. Fortunately, this one Mawile comes in. These are still neutral. I just get to the shop. I'll just grab a shielder. But anyways, hard counter. Ferrothorn on the lead against my Quag, Mawile here, and then they have a lantern to take out my pelipper. So that is when I switched to Escav. No, not right away, but a couple more battles, a couple more losses with Lucario. Again, the Whiscash matchup and just Mudboys in general. Just too glassy in my opinion. So then I switched to Escav, and we will take a look at Escav as soon as I get hard countered here. Because I guarantee you that I switch out of this, I leave as soon as I find the last hard counter. So yes, come in here and hard counter. Okay, goodbye. And that's the thing, it's not like you don't have a safe swap with this team. The thing is, like, Quagsire is so good on the lead, you only have to leave against grass. And there's not a ton of grass, right? So Ferrothorn, they try and catch, but I baited. So Ferrothorn is really the only thing that I'm leaving. I mean, you're leaving like Ludicolo and stuff, but it's not around often. And Credilli's not around often either. So it's just Ferrothorn. And because Ferrothorn is popular, but because it's like one Pokemon out of many that people are using, that's why I find Quagsire on the lead is so safe that you're not often getting out of it. If you do see a Ferrothorn, who is your safe swap on this team? The only problem, it's tough. It's tough. For me personally, the getting absolutely walled by Lantern is much worse than getting a Pelipper on an Escav. So for me, I would say Escav is your safe swap. And I know, I hope I do that in the last battle, because I remember that, I remember there's a Ferrothorn lead in one of these and I switch out. So hopefully past me, I don't care what past me does. Current me says the best move is going Escav. They have to throw Hurricane here, else it's not going to take me out, and I would make a horn and take them out. And now I can Stone Edge them for the win. So next matchup, Quag against Golisopod. Again, this is a bad matchup because Mud Shot and Mud Bomb are resisted, but Stone Edge is super effective. So if I remember, and you live at least one liquidation anyways. I get the Stone Edge off, and if I remember, they tried to go X Scissor and it doesn't take me out. It's just that non-shadow Quag coming in very strong for me here. So I believe they go X Scissor, and it leaves me with like 1 HP, a couple HP, and I get the Stone Edge off. So they have to double shield, or I'm going to take this out and switch and a shield advantage, which is like a great scenario. So great scenario. They have Lucario. I have two answers for this. I come Pelipper because my thinking was, I think at the time my thinking was, one, counters resist as opposed to being neutral against your Escav. And two, I thought that they may have a Lantern in the back because Ferrothorn Lantern is a pretty common core, because Ferrothorn is one of the problems. One of the problems with Ferrothorn is Pelipper. So Escav lead again, neutral. They get out into Gyarados. Oh God, I remember this one. I'm so mad. Never bait. I thought they're staying in. They're going to throw Stone Edge for sure. Nope. I bait with a Mud Bomb, and I just lost this matchup right here. You cannot. How do you call that? Good call, I guess. But I should have tried to grab a shield, because now they shield anyways, but now they're already so far ahead on energy. Anyways, I don't have a great answer for this. Do I come? Yeah, I came in here because I thought that, like, Gyarados is so glassy, and although counters resisted, so is Dragon Breath. And between the counters and Drowan, even though Drowan's resisted, I should be able to take it out, and I do not take it out. 1 HP, and they get an Aqua Tail off. So this is just this comedy of mistakes, right? Not comedy of mistakes, just stupid mistakes. The bait, that, Escav, so there's still a chance, right? Escav's good here. Oh, Lantern. Okay, game over. So yeah, not well played there at all. So Ferrothorn, here you go. Do I come Escav? I do come Escav. Look at me. Past me, coming through. And this is the thing. This Megahorn pretty much would take out. So they have to shield, and they do if I remember. Or else I would have flip switched there. So I do think that Escav is probably the better safe swap overall in this meta. Do I shield and force the last shield, or I let this go and start getting ahead on energy on Pelipper? Or Quag? Yeah, it's not a terrible idea, because I can take a couple Mud Bombs, get to 2 Mud Bombs on my own, 1 for this, 1 for the Ferrothorn, and then... because I don't think this takes out. I think I'm going to have to farm down here. And they gave up switching to Pelipper, which is interesting. So Ferrothorn double Mud Boy is a very common lineup. That's why I ran double Grass the other day. Could be Sledge, so I respect it. It is just a Hydro. This will not take out, but I can live 1 more Hydro, which is fine. That's fine. And farm down, and then it's just being ahead on the energy here and just being smart with it, with the Ferrothorn and the Quag. So I think the Ferrothorn comes in if I remember. I just go straight Hurricane. Yep. No point screwing around here. Let's just... The bait is just the only thing that would potentially lose me this matchup. They let it go, which is huge, because now it's basically in wing attack weather ball range. So they shield. I'm going to try and catch this probably. Save my last shield. Okay. Or do I let it go and I farm down with Mud Shot? Yeah. Okay. Get to a move. Know they're going to try and catch. Know that you're going to live a Mud Bomb from this range to non-shadow Pokemon. Get the full farm down. Have 2 moves coming out when I only need 1 for the win. Yeah, yeah, that was a better move at the time. So just letting it go, having them dump their energy. Ferrothorns still have Steel, so it takes neutral from those Mud Bombs, right? So it's not a bad Pokemon to use. So that is my counter user analysis for the Fossil Cup. Just given how glossy Lucario is, given that Escav is half bug, so it's only neutral to the Mud Bombs as opposed to the Mud Boys, just mud in general, ground, as opposed to being super effective on Lucario, and there's a lot of ground in this. That is why I think Escav is probably the better counter user for this meta. So I kind of like this team, like Quagsire, Pelipper, Escav. Escav's a decent safe swap. Quagsire, Pelipper, super strong together. Core. If I was going to run this again next week, if I was to play this next week, I would probably run this. I'm still undecided what I want to do next week. I really don't want to play this again. I might, but it's Ultra League is on, and I know a lot of people don't have the resources for Ultra League, so we will see. I'm undecided what I want to do. Let me know in the comments below whether you're playing Fossil Cup, Great League next week, or Ultra League. And that is it. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.